In the 1990s, artisanal mining emerged in Mongolia as an alternative form of income generation for thousands of people. This was a response to persistent and widespread poverty. The majority of artisanal miners were herders who'd lost all their livestock due to successive zood and were left with little choice but to seek other forms of economic survival. Until recently, the work undertaken by an estimated 100,000 artisanal miners, who are also known as ninja miners, was illegal and unorganized. It was associated with social problems such as alcoholism, crime, and child labor. Artisanal miners have also been blamed for using toxic mercury in their gold extraction activities, polluting rivers and springs, land degradation, and destroying native vegetation. There are frequent conflicts between artisanal miners, large-scale mining companies, and local herders. It was a common occurrence for artisanal miners to invade and raid the large-scale mining companies. These raids would sometimes turn violent. In response, the large mining companies, usually with very high security, used force to secure their lands. This would often violate the rights of artisanal miners. It wasn't easy for us before. We, the artisanal miners, dig for gold in order to make our living. Sometimes we had to raid the large mining company's licensed area. Of course, they have high security. We often get our equipment and tools confiscated. We would be arrested by the local police and company security guards and had to pay heavy fines to recollect our equipment and metal detectors. We would be chased by police and company security vehicles. We were also detained for several days when we were caught. I have been working as a small-scale miner for 6 to 7 years. We are nicknamed ninjas. We had to cross over a high mountain to get into a 40 to 50 meter deep pit of the mine, and we often hurt ourselves from fleeing from the company securities. Of course, we had bad names and fames since we were invading a large mine's territory. Seeing the potential of artisanal mining as a viable employment option for unemployed poor, the Swiss Agency for Development Cooperation started a project as an attempt to support the legalization and formalization of artisanal mining in Mongolia. In order to develop artisanal mining into a sustainable, small-scale mining sector, and enabling legislation and appropriate government policy were necessary. The government of Mongolia, with support from the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, has legalized artisanal and small-scale mining through amendments of the Minerals Law to legalize artisanal small-scale mining in 2010. This provided appropriate organizational structures for miners to enable them to use natural resources more efficiently and in a more environmentally friendly manner. As a result, up to 100,000 artisanal miners have an opportunity to formalize their operations and no longer work illegally in Mongolia. The SDC's Sustainable Artisanal Mining Project was called as a mediator in resolving conflicts. For example, in Zamar Sum, Tuf Amak, the project facilitated negotiation between the Association of the Artisanal Miners, one of the large gold mining companies, and the local government. As a result, the Mondulon company, one of the many in Samar, allowed more than 50 local artisanal miners to work on its site 3 days a week. After the legal framework regulating artisanal mining in Mongolia was approved by the government, our NGO came into a cooperation agreement with Mondulan Company. Since then, our condition has become much more favorable. By working in the pit floor of Mondulan Company in an organized form, our income has increased significantly. Within 5 days, we have recovered 494 grams of gold, which is almost similar to the medium or small-scale mining company output. These legislative provisions mean that artisanal miners will be able to secure mining land, hence viable workplaces, and a stable income. They will also be able to work without fear of reprisals and the associated stress involved. Now that the artisanal mining is legalized and the small-scale miners are entitled with rights to be allocated with working land, we are willing to offer them work field on the company's mine site with a strict requirement to follow the safety standards. So we have had started cooperation with local miners to support their initiatives of responsible mining. As a result of the agreement, more than 50 miners were selected and trained in occupational safety to work in a large mine site. Mondulan's support comes in the form of safety trainings, provision of transportation, and most needed water for processing gold. Most importantly, the help allows the small-scale miners to work on the mined-out site with the company's heavy equipment. The artisanal miners then work on the pit until they claim the remaining gold. Assured that nothing is left after the artisanal miners' work, the company is then able to start rehabilitation work. Since cooperating with Mondulan Company, we have earned quite a lot. We recover about 100 grams of gold per day as a group. The earnings from our work are shared equally to all members, and we are happy and proud to say that we have paid income tax and have affiliated to health and social security insurances. In order to become more responsible and formal, the artisanal miners are being organized into partnerships as required by the law. The Association of Artisanal Miners, a civil society organization comprised of artisanal miners' partnerships, helps their members enter into formal agreements with the SUM administration and work officially at agreed mining sites. As of 2011, there are 11 NGOs representing more than 330 such partnerships throughout the country. EMEC NGO was established with 128 members in 2009. We had lots of problems with access to mining land. To get mining land, we applied to local government and mining companies, but it did not work out. After the Parliament legalized the artisanal mining, we started our negotiation with large mining companies. Thanks to facilitation and support from the Sustainable Artisanal Mining Project, we were able to reach an agreement with the Mondulan Company to work on their mined-out sites. Our people are now working on Mondulan site just like formal miners. The company supports with us transportation to the mine pit and transporting our ore to the processing park. Zamarsum government is very satisfied with this agreement, which is a model for others to follow, paving the way to settle the major conflicts in the SUM. This is a good practice not only on working together as a small and large-scale mine, but also efficient use of natural resources, which should be introduced to other areas in similar situations. With appropriate legal framework, artisanal and small-scale mining can be formalized to be a viable employment option with the potential to develop as a mining subsector in Mongolia.